Good morning, students. Welcome to your physics class. I hope you are doing good and are in good health. So let's start with our class. Good morning, students. In our previous class, we had studied universal law of gravitation. There we had derived the formula of force between two objects, any two objects placed anywhere in the entire universe. That was g m into m divided by d square, where g was the universal gravitational constant, capital M and small m were the masses of two objects, d was the distance between those two objects. Students, in our today's class, we are going to do two topics. First, we are going to study free fall, what is free fall, and secondly, we are going to study the acceleration due to gravity, that is denoted by small g in detail. Okay. Now, first, let's start with the free fall. All right. Now, we know that the earth attract objects towards it isn't it? That is due to the gravitational force. Okay. Now, assume that this is a ground, this is the surface of the earth, okay, and this is the apple tree and this is the apple. Now, if it falls down, this is due to the gravitational force, isn't it? Now, there is no other force is being applied on the apple other than the gravitational pull, isn't it? So, if the object falls towards the earth without any other force other than the gravity, then we call that object is falling freely towards the ground. Okay, and we'll call this apple as freely falling object. Okay, if the object falls freely towards the ground and it falls due to the gravitational pull or gravity and no other force is applied on it, then we call that the object is freely falling object. Okay, that is the free fall of an object. All right. Now, students, tell me, is there any velocity change for a freely falling object? Does the velocity changes when the object falls freely towards the ground? Yes, the velocity changes. How? We will see with an activity. Okay. Now, tell me first, velocity is what? V, isn't it? Velocity is a vector quantity. That means it has both magnitude as well as direction. Okay. And the velocity will change. It will be seen when either the magnitude if changes or the direction changes, then we will say that velocity is changing, or both magnitude as well as direction changes, then we'll say that the velocity is changing. Okay, so assume an activity where you are throwing a ball in the upward direction. Okay, now when you throw a ball in the upward direction, you throw with a certain force F and you throw with a certain velocity U. With a certain speed, the ball you are throwing in the upward direction. So after certain point, when it will go up in upward direction, after certain point, after reaching to certain height, that I'm calling it as this much distance as h, the ball stops moving further upward and it stops and starts moving in downward direction, isn't it? So can I say that initially the velocity was what? U, and it was having certain value. I'm assuming that I have thrown the ball in upward direction with a velocity of 10 meter per second. Okay. Now, as the ball will move upward, its velocity will start decreasing, and after achieving the height h, its velocity becomes what? V is equal to 0 meter per second. The ball stops after reaching certain height and starts coming down. Just consider the starting part of the activity where the ball is going in the upward direction. All right. This means that while going in the upward direction, the velocity decreases. And why it is decreasing? Because the upward motion is the motion against the gravity, isn't it? Gravitational pull is towards downward direction, so velocity is decreasing. Okay, that means it will have certain deceleration, or we say that it will have certain retardation. Deceleration means retardation. When we will throw some object in the upward direction, that means against the gravity, then there will be certain retardation. The same way here, when the object will fall freely towards the ground, okay, this object is falling freely towards the ground with no other force other than the gravitational force of attraction, that means towards downward direction. That means this gravitational pull will help this object coming down. Okay, and as the object is coming down, the velocity will increase. Okay, when it is a downward motion towards the ground, then the gravitational pull will be highest towards the surface, near the surface of the ground, and least away from the earth. Okay, now here the velocity will be what? The velocity will increase as the object comes nearer to the surface of the ground. Okay, and here what was happening? The velocity was decreasing. Why? Because the object was going away from the earth. Okay, now away from the surface of the earth. That means here due to the gravity, there will be the acceleration in the there will be an acceleration in the motion, isn't it? And here there will be retardation in the motion. Okay, so here the acceleration will be called as acceleration due to gravity, because no other force is being applied. So the acceleration is what? A, isn't it? And this acceleration is only due to what? Acceleration is only due to the gravity. A is due to gravity, isn't it? So if acceleration is due to gravity, then A has a special name which we call it as acceleration due to gravity, and will refer it as g, small g. Okay, small g is nothing but the value of acceleration only when the acceleration is due to the gravity. Okay, now we are going to study the value of small g in detail. And students, don't get confused the small g with the capital G. Capital G is what? Capital G is the universal gravitational constant. This is a constant. Okay, and this is what it has? It is the value of acceleration only, and this acceleration is due to the gravity. So this is the acceleration due to gravity, and capital G is the universal gravitational constant. Okay, both have SI unit different, both have their values different. They are both entirely different things. Okay, now we are going to see the value of small g in detail. Okay, we are aware of the three equations of motion, right? For freely falling body, the equations of the motion will reduce to what? A is equal to g. In place of A, we will be taking the value of small g as the value of acceleration. Okay, why? Because for freely falling body, the acceleration due to gravity is no longer A, it is small g. Okay, so the three equations will result in, first equation we will write as V is equal to U plus AT. It was earlier, right, in general, but for freely falling body, the equation here the value of A will be G. So in place of A, I am writing here as G. So first equation will be V is equal to U plus GT. Okay. Likewise, second equation is S is equal to UT plus half AT square was there, isn't it, in general? But for freely falling body, what we are going to do here is we are going to put the value of A as G. Okay. And one more thing, the displacement will be what? The height covered by the body, right? So displacement will be what? H here. The value of small s will be what? H. So H is equal to UT plus half GT square. In place of A, we have taken small g. Okay. What about the third equation of motion? V square minus U square is equal to 2AS. Earlier, in general, the equation was what? It was 2AS. So here, the value of A is being replaced by G, and the value of small s, that is displacement, is being replaced by small h. Okay. So these will be the three equations of motion for freely falling body. Okay. Remember the condition that for these equations to be true, the body should be freely falling body. Okay. Students, so far we have seen that the force of attraction between any two objects can be calculated by this formula, isn't it? Where the G was universal gravitational constant, capital M and small m were the masses of two objects, and D was the distance between two objects, right? Now, what if one of the object turns to be the earth and another object which is being placed on the earth or above the earth, okay, anywhere in the universe? Okay. Now, why am I interested in making one of the object as earth? Because while discussing about the gravity, the gravitational force will be the force of attraction that I was talking earlier between any two objects. Here the gravity is what? It is the gravitational force of attraction I am talking about while considering the gravity. So while considering the gravity, I have to take one of the object as the earth and another object as an object. Okay. So if I'm taking this as an object and one of the object as earth, then I have to take one of the mass as mass of the earth. So I'm taking the capital M as mass of the earth, and small m is the mass of the object that is above or on the surface of the earth or anywhere. It can be anywhere in the entire universe. Okay. So here acceleration due to gravity, while considering it, we have to take one of the object as earth. Okay. Because the gravitational force of attraction is due to the earth only. Okay. That's why I have taken one of the object as earth. So I'll be taking one of the mass as mass of the earth and another mass as mass of the object, and d will be the radius of the earth. Okay. Why am I taking d as radius of the earth? It's because assume that it is earth. Okay. And wherever the object is, it will be slightly around or just on the surface of the earth, right? It can be on the surface of the earth or it can be just above the earth. So the distance between earth and the object would be what? It will be taken from the core of the earth. So it will be calculated like this. Okay. So the distance between two objects I take as d, isn't it? So here the d will be what? D will be the radius of the earth. Okay. Here I'm considering m as mass of the earth, mass of earth, and and r is my, r is equal to d, and it is what? It is the radius of earth. Okay, now the object can be placed on just on the surface of the earth, or it can be placed anywhere just above the earth, right? Since this earth is of, it is very much larger than the size of the object, so this distance r I'm taking from the core till the surface of the earth, I'm taking it as r, but the distance from the surface of the earth to the object is very less. This distance is very less as compared to the radius of the earth, this distance, right? So I'll be taking the addition of both the distance as equal to capital R only. Why? Because our radius of the earth is very large. Okay, that's why this distance is, I'm neglecting this distance, because this distance in comparing to the radius of the earth, it is very very small, so it will be overall r only. R will be what? R will be the distance between the object to the core of the earth. So it will be what? It will be the radius of the earth only. Okay. This will be the case only when I am considering the gravity. Okay. Now, what about the gravitational force of attraction formula? We know that F is what? G m into m upon d square, isn't it? Now it can be reduced into F is equal to G m into m upon r square. Why? Because while taking one of the object as earth, I have to take the distance between two objects as the distance between two objects as r. Okay, now we know that this is the force of attraction between two objects. That means here the force of attraction is due to the gravitational force, right? So this will be the force of attraction due to gravity. That means this will be the value of gravitational force. Okay, now we also know that the gravitational force, if we talk about any force, if we talk about F, we know that it is having value ma, isn't it? Now in terms of the gravitational force, due to gravitational force only acceleration is there, so the acceleration will be due to the gravity only. So gravity, due to gravity, the acceleration, we know that it is what? The small g. So it will reduce into what? It will reduce into F is equal to, in place of A put G, so it will be what? Mg. Okay, this is the case when the object is it is the case when the force of attraction is due to gravity. Okay, now we know, take this as equation number 1 and this as equation number 2. Both are the gravitational force only, so equate them. It will reduce into mg is equal to gm into m upon r square. So m and m will get cancelled. Okay, so it will be what? It will be g is equal to gm upon r square. This is the formula of acceleration due to gravity. Okay, here acceleration due to gravity is depending upon the g, m and r square. Okay, that means acceleration due to gravity is dependent on the universal gravitational constant, mass of the earth, and radius of the earth. So does the acceleration due to gravity depends on the mass of the object? No. Why? Because mass of the object is not in the formula. Here mass is the only mass of earth. So can we say that the mass of the object, or can we say that the acceleration due to gravity is independent to the mass of the object? It is only dependent on the mass of the earth only. Okay. So this is the point. So there are few conclusions regarding this formula. So you have to learn this formula. Okay. Now I'll be making those conclusions. Okay. Now tell me. Now if you see page number 135 of your NCERT science book, you'll see here in the section of 10.2.1, here we can calculate the value of small g, isn't it? How? See, the value of universal gravitational constant, we already know that it has value of 6.7, or we can say 6.67. They have rounded off. Okay, so it is what? 6.7 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square kg to the power minus 2. Now mass of earth is what? 6 into 10 to the power 24 kg. It is fixed, right? And the radius is also fixed. It is what? It has value of 6.4 into 10 to the power 6 meter. Okay, so after putting all the values, okay, here I have put the value of radius of the earth and then I have squared it. Okay, after solving all the values, I'll be getting 9.8 meter per second square. From where this unit has come? It is because g is what? Acceleration due to gravity. So the value of g, the SI unit of g will be similar to as that of acceleration, and we know acceleration has SI unit as meter per second square. So the g will also have SI unit as meter per second square. Okay, this is the value of small g. So now we will see whether the value of g is fixed or not. Okay. So here we have seen that the acceleration due to gravity of the earth is what? G into m. M is what? It is the mass of the earth divided by r square. R is what? Radius of the earth. Okay, this formula, student, is also valid for other planets also. That means if we have to calculate the acceleration due to gravity of that planet, particular planet, so we have to consider it as gp. So it will be what? It will be here the mass of that planet will be taking, and here will be taking the radius of that planet. Okay, we know that the universal gravitational constant is fixed. It has a fixed value, so it will not change anywhere in the entire universe. Okay, only corresponding mass and the radius of that planet will be taken when we consider the acceleration due to gravity of that particular planet. Okay, so it is also valid for other planets as well. Okay, now we know that the value of small g, acceleration due to gravity, is what? 9.8 meter per second square. Okay, now does it change anywhere? Yes, it changes. How? We know that on earth, on the surface of the earth, okay, or somewhere very nearby the surface, we will be taking g as 9.8 meter per second square. Okay, this we have to take on if the object is either exactly on the surface of the earth or very near to the surface of the earth. Okay, now this value changes when we calculate the value of g on the pole, and when we see the value in on at the equator, then both the values may vary. How? We know that the earth is what? Is it a perfect square? No, it's not. It is little bit elliptical in shape, right? If it is elliptical in shape, then the radius of the earth, if the object is at equator, then will be taking this radius, isn't it? So it will be what? RE, can I say it as radius of the earth at equator? And for pole, can I say it as RP, radius of the earth at pole? So it will be what? RP. Both are not equal, so the value of G will not come equal. Okay, how we know that G is what? G is inversely proportional to the square of the radius, isn't it? So here, if the radius will increase, then G will decrease. So here, since RE is greater than RP, RE is greater than RP, so at RE the value of G will be what? Very smaller as compared to RP. Okay, so GE is very much smaller than GP. Okay, the value of acceleration due to gravity at equator will be less than as compared to the acceleration due to gravity at pole. Okay, there is one another conclusion, that is that if we increase the height or depth, then the value of G will reduce. How? See, if we increase the height of the object, okay, from the earth, then what will happen? We have to consider the distance that we were neglecting earlier, right? Here the distance was very small, so we were neglecting it, isn't it? So we were taking the capital R only. But if this distance gets significant, then we have to add it along with the radius, isn't it? So it will be what? This R will increase, or we say that the value of denominator will increase. It will be R plus H, isn't it? When the value of denominator will increase, then the value of G will decrease. So the value of acceleration due to gravity decreases when we increase the height, okay, or the depth of the earth. Okay,